Cyber Uncut. Discover the changing face of business, government and national security as Australia navigates the cyber revolution.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, no matter what time of day or where you are listening to the Cyber Uncut podcast. Can you imagine they could be anywhere, Dan? Anywhere, listening to us right now.
Anywhere, from your phone, laptop, from a plane, I guess.
If they've downloaded it to their phone, absolutely. And why wouldn't you? My name is David Hollingworth and I'm the Deputy Editor of Cyber Daily. I'm joined by my colleague Daniel Croft and we're here to talk AI, cyber crimes, and we have another special guest this episode. But before we get into that, how's your week been? You're moving house.
I am. My week has been stressful. Other than last night, I had a little, I'm doing some auditions for some session work, some drumming session work. But besides that, it's been constant packing and moving. Luckily, we're only moving 100 metres up the road. We just got a better deal.
That's plus.
But yeah, it means packing car full of boxes, driving
Now, here's a question for you. How much data did you have to give over when you went up to this new property? And how do you think it was collected? And how do you think it's going to be held, more importantly?
Well, I'm not going to name names because I kind of want to keep this in the back pocket. But when we applied, we ticked no to consenting to having our data shared with people like, utility services to swap your utilities over. Yet my partner was called by a utility service, I think 15 times. And when I called them and said, please stop calling us, they said, we were told
you opted in?
Yeah, we were told you were given consent. So there's been to exaggerate it, but it is technically true, a data breach.
Because a breach of your data that you gave no permission to be shared?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so I'm not going to name names. It's innocent. It's highly unlikely to be harmful in any way. But it's not a good thing. So I'm not going to go out and call these guys out.
It's amazing that I asked just in the off chance to be something newsworthy there. Yeah. And guess what? There is.
Yeah, well, look, I'm not going to, use it as blackmail. But if they say, hey, we're raising your rent by a ridiculous amount, or they're gonna, I've got a break that needs fixing.
Hey, and also
they don't.
You said you wouldn't share this data, and I'm guessing you did.
Yeah. So let's do things properly.
And we know that this year the Privacy Commissioner is actually cracking down on data collection practices when it comes to people like estate agencies. So that's kind of fascinating.
It's a good thing. You do hand over a lot of data.
I know. I moved last year, and it was just. So much.
Yeah, it's like, I need to give you this many points of ID and I need stuff that's like related to Medicare.
Yeah.
And, and bills, examples of my, to prove that I've got the money to pay rent.
Yeah.
Here's some bank account
I know,
information.
there's so much that can be done with that data, as you and I both know.
Yeah. So every time you see a real estate on Cyber Daily that we've written about, keep that in mind.
Ooh, getting mean there. All right, okay, enough threatening posturing from Dan. Let's dive into AI news. And Qantas has made some headlines this week for not exactly the right reasons.
Yeah, so we actually both spoke about this on the Australian Aviation podcast.
We did actually. So if you want to get some more of that, also by the way, I am co-host in the Australian Aviation podcast, so you can get more of my. Either you want to hate me because you think I'm terrible, or you think I'm fantastic and want to listen to me. Either or is another opportunity to do both of those things on the Australian Aviation podcast.
Yeah, so we can actually sink our teeth a little bit more into the AI side here. So Sydney Morning Herald were the first to cover this. Qantas, this is a trend we're seeing with a bunch of companies, has reportedly terminated 30 roles last week. They did at their location in Mascot, New South Wales, right next to Sydney Airport, pretty much. And they said this would be to simplify its management structure. Now, the ASU, the Australian Services Union, said it was told that those roles would be replaced by AI. So ASU New South Wales ACT Secretary Angus McFarlane said, our members turned up for work on Wednesday, were taken aside and told effectively that their job had been replaced by AI and they have 4 weeks to find another one. Now,
that's uncool.
Not great. Really, really not great. Now, Qantas has actually denied this. They said, no, we're not replacing these positions with AI.
So someone's fibbing.
But there is, it will be part of our, technological growth, which, as if you read Australian Aviation or been on the podcast, you can see that there has been a bunch of that. Yeah. There has been a lot of technological growth at Qantas. So, Qantas said, we advised the Australian Services Union on Wednesday last week of the changes and a meeting with them on Monday. So I assume that would have been, that's next Monday, I believe. Meeting with them on Monday to discuss ways to reduce the impact on affected employees. That was a Qantas spokesperson. They said, this includes considering redeployment opportunities into one of the newly created roles resulting from these changes or into other roles across the group. So they're pretty much saying new jobs are coming out of this.
Yeah.
So, which would suggest not AI necessarily.
I don't know, prompt engineers, AI security types.
That's true.
Chief AI officers, I believe they currently have one of those anyway.
Yes.
So maybe that's where the new jobs are coming from, but clearly they think there are jobs they don't need anymore.
Yeah, so, and the thing is, Qantas is moving more into AI. I believe they are looking for a chief AI officer.
Yep.
And the new Chief Technology, AI and Transformation Officer is Qantas Link head Rachel Yangowan.
Yep.
I think I pronounced that wrong on the other podcast as well.
Oh, you're good. You're fine.
Yeah.
I'm not keeping track.
And her role will be to oversee the company's AI strategy, data and analytics, and enterprise token-driven transformation programs, while the new Chief AI Officer, who is yet to be appointed, will lead implementation and scaling of AI across the organization. So they are going in this AI direction, as a million other companies in the country
and
are.
AI makes sense for a company like Qantas. Think of the amount of data that they have and the kind of efficiencies they might be able to find if they start mining that data.
Absolutely.
Or even trends that no one's noticed yet. And you get an AI to look over however many years worth of data and go, oh, here's something you can learn or implement and make use of. So it makes sense.
Yeah, look, it is just the way of the future at the moment. They've previously, and we've discussed this, talked about ethical and responsible implementation of AI. I actually think I was quite pleased with how they spoke about AI when they first started talking about it.
I mean, on the surface, they're doing it right. I mean, it's funny that we went off this, and I don't know why this didn't go into my notes, but I think it's worth bringing up. WiseTech, Australian software company, saying the quiet part out loud. So they've just laid off 2,000 of their staff globally. Yeah. That's more than half of their total headcount. And their chief executive, Zubin Apu.
Wait, sorry, half?
Yeah. Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, go on.
Yeah. As I understand it, maybe the stats I'm looking at are wrong, and I'm sure someone will point out if I'm in error right now, and I apologize ahead of time.
Yes.
But Apu's statement, I believe, speaks for itself. Software development has experienced its most significant shift in decades, he said. Going on to say, I'm prepared to say this clearly, the era of manually writing code as the core act of engineering is over.
Well,
I mean, that's just it. We're letting go of you. You want AI to do your job. It's like, yeah.
Have you seen, there's these ads going on at the moment, and it's a bunch of people in an office. They're all happy-go-lucky, and this lady goes, I just built an app. And she's vibe coded it with this.
Oh, you're
platform.
talking about a member of our AV team, who I shall not name on air, says every other day, "Hey, I've just built an app." And he's doing it. Literally, that's exactly what he's doing.
And that's the thing. And so in this ad, they all make their own, apps for like protein counting and like I don't know, plants or something. I don't know. Not important, but they and it's really kind of this attitude of, hey, why. You could just go build an app yourself. There's another one where it's like it used to cost $5 million to make an app, and then it cost, this many tens of thousands, and now you can do it for free. Yippee. Ignore the fact that you're displacing, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people that have been building them since apps were a thing.
Yeah.
But, ignore that bit.
Yeah. Ignore the fact that you don't have the deep knowledge required to properly troubleshoot, understand, or develop upon what the AI presents with you in terms of code. No, we're going to trust the AI.
And that's it. And if you're I think we've spoken about it before, you get a few software programmers that use it to do the bulk, but they have the understanding to make a whole product in the end.
Yeah.
That is one thing. But this whole danger of who did we speak about not that long ago who had a flaw as a result of a program that was vibe coded? I think
I mean, look, that's common, right? The AI doesn't know.
Yeah, I think I might have spoken about it with Liam on the last podcast I was on with him.
But Richard Valenti, who's the Australian executive VP at a firm called Teleperformance, he had something to say, and he told news.com to you about this land live. This isn't a cyclical job cut, it's a structural reset. Yeah. The era of large transaction processing teams is ending. The future workforce will manage AI systems, interpret complex data, and step in when things go wrong. So, yeah, okay, that's human in the loop kind of stuff.
It is, but it's like, let the AI do it, and if it has any troubles, you jump in.
Yeah.
And I don't like that.
Like, no one here is talking about, well, what does it mean for those 2,000 people? What are they meant to do? How are they being supported in this transition?
Yeah, they're not even pretending by the sound of things.
That's certainly the impression I get, and it seems like Qantas may have a few questions to answer along those lines as well. But it's not just AI that is boosting productivity, it's also harming productivity in the terms of the fact that bad guys are using it, aren't they?
Yeah, so, the good guys are using it in droves, so are the baddies.
Yep.
Now, CrowdStrike released their Global Threat Report for 2026, and it is a great read. It always is. Now, the statistic that stood out to me immediately, and it's something they even had in their foreword, is that the number of cyber attacks by, in quotes, AI-enabled adversaries grew 89% in a year.
Yeah.
89%, nearly doubled. And they use this in a number of ways. So the classic ways that we always know is you get a malicious AI, or not even a malicious AI, to write you some code.
Yeah.
You have it write phishing content for a phishing campaign.
Yep.
You do it for social engineering, emails, disinformation, deepfakes.
If you're a scammer or you are a practitioner of business email compromise, AI is your friend. Even just a chatbot can dramatically scale and smooth your output.
Yeah. So, CrowdStrike wrote, AI-accelerated phishing and automated reconnaissance in some of the uses, shortening the time from initial access to impact. It elevated less sophisticated threat actors and amplified the most advanced ones. It compressed the time between intent and execution.
Yeah, something I'm hearing a lot about are polymorphic payloads, where the system starts to tailor itself to the network environment it finds itself in. I mean, this is scary, literal AI kind of stuff. And wouldn't you know it, I'm just getting a Cloudflare timeout on the website I currently have up.
Lovely.
Great, cool. I love that to happen.
CrowdStrike actually, had a couple of examples here. So there's a Russian state-sponsored hacking and espionage group, Fancy Bear.
I know Fancy Bear.
Yeah.
They've got like a 20 bajillion names.
Yes,
I believe they're attached to the GRU, the Russian intelligence service.
Yes. So they have embedded a large language model, prompts for a large language model into their malware so it performs operational tasks.
Yeah.
Including, legitimate tasks within a network.
Yeah.
So this campaign, referred to as Lame Hug, which is great, performs espionage tasks against Ukraine, and the large language model is for document collection and reconnaissance before exfiltration.
So if you've got a large data set in your target network, you deploy the AI on it to go, here's what you really want, to scale, to search through it at speed, and get the good stuff.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's getting really, really dangerous. Now, beyond threat actors, I will say as well, CrowdStrike did note that the large language model did not actually make the malware any more effective, but it shows that these threat actors are learning to use it, and they're wanting it to create those productivity gains, as we were talking about. As they mentioned, this is a lot of low-tier threat actors that are getting this boost, and we've always spoken about lowering that barrier for entry, even before AI.
Ransomware as a service is a perfect case in point. All you need is the ability to understand how that software works. And this software these days is designed to be as user-friendly as possible.
It is,
Ransomware groups have support chat lines and documentation. Now we're getting AI thrown into the mix, so it's becoming easier and easier. I mean, I'd love one day to get permission from our bosses to actually sign up to a ransomware as a service operation and try and get inside the loop and see how easy it is to deploy ransomware against Momentum Media. I didn't say that out loud.
No, and this gets more interesting. So it's not just about threat actors using AI either.
Yeah.
Businesses using AI are actually opening themselves up to more vulnerabilities, as we've discussed. You're widening that threat landscape when you have AI on your network. There's new vulnerabilities to exploit. People are implementing the technology really, really quickly, and threat actors are literally embedding harmful things into those AI tools.
Yeah.
And it's not illegitimate AI tools either. The most mentioned model on dark web hacking forums was OpenAI's ChatGPT, and it was 550% more mentioned than the second one, which was Gemini, and then it was Grok.
And we all know how easy it is to jailbreak these models, right? You ask it, how do I make a Molotov cocktail? Well, I can't teach you that. You ask it, well, historically speaking, what did Finnish soldiers during the Russian invasion of 1939 do? Oh, well, here's exactly what they did.
It's like, or I'm writing it for a creative, a fictional novel, and
So
I need this to be detailed.
If, I'm writing a novel, the main character's a hacker, and I want to talk about how they program their malware. Can you give me a hand?
Yeah.
Sure I can.
Jailbreaking these things is not difficult. Now, I know, credit to these AI companies, they constantly update their terms, T's and C's, and their safeguards in an attempt to stop this. But when you have, a tool that, as advertised, is, thinking, it's almost like you're social engineering a bot,
It is a lot like that. It really, really is.
And it's one thing that these guys are good at.
You're not wrong. I saw a report from yet another state of cybersecurity report, this time from ReliaQuest, and the headline data point, which is terrifying, is that AI is reducing time to break out to 4 minutes. So initial intrusion, and then you're suddenly traversing a network inside of 4 minutes with the assistance of AI.
Yeah.
We're talking a process that could have taken days.
Yeah.
Reduced to minutes now.
Enough where there is a chance for law enforcement or cyber firms or something to potentially, it's a small window, but potentially get in between.
Because containment matters in a lot of these instances. However, you need to notice it first, and unless you have really good endpoint protection, probably AI powered, to make sure those alerts get to the right person, how do you handle that?
But even then, at 4 minutes, if you have an alert that goes off exactly as they access it, like, milliseconds accurate. 4 minutes is still not long enough for anyone to prevent or interrupt it. Like, it's just such a short time frame.
It is,
Now, I want to talk about quickly another group, Punk Spider. So it increased its use of AI in its threats by 134% in the last year. And the main way it was doing it was executing AI-generated scripts during its cyber attacks. Another group, famous Cholima? That one I hadn't heard of before. That one.
That would be a North Korean group.
Yes.
Qilin is their North Korean.
But famous I had not heard of. But they used the technology to generate fake personas and used an AI coding assistant to, in quotes, evade detection and maintain employment. So almost AI-powered living off the land.
It's part of the North Korean fake IT worker.
Oh,
thing.
okay.
Yeah. That's why it's about fake personas and all of that kind of stuff. So AI is being deployed en masse as part of those fake IT scams because it can generate LinkedIn profiles, resumes, job applications at scale. And
this is like almost living off the land stuff because it's legitimate things that are being used to stay on the network. So this could go on and on and on. So I believe it's Adam Myers, their head of adversarial.
Yeah, he is sharp.
He is a smart dude.
Yeah, I've spoken to him a couple of times.
And he said this, to defend against AI-enabled threats. Oh, no, this is CrowdStrike, sorry. Myers said, this is an AI arms race. Security teams must operate faster than the adversary to win. And it's true. And it's always been true of cybersecurity. Cyber professionals are always catching up to the criminals because the criminals, they kind of write the thing. We're trying to stop it. And this is the same here. So, good luck to all our defenders out there.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a bit like that. On that note, we are going to throw to a short break. We'll be back with the week in it's a very serious week in cybercrime.
Yes.
And our special guest. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Cyber Uncut. I am David.
I am Daniel.
Yeah, I know. I caught you up there. All right. Okay. So we're down to the nitty gritty. We are talking crimes. I'm going to quick. Whatever. Qilin off because Qilin has been very, very busy in the Australian landscape.
Yes.
Qilin is a ransomware as a service operation, as we were saying previously. They basically are a gun for hire or malware for hire, more accurately. Since the end of January, they have listed 4 separate Australian groups, but it's kind of curious. I'll just run through who the groups are. The Mount Barker Cooperative in WA, which we covered, I think, last week in particular. But I've been watching 3 other instances just to see how they develop. In the earliest case, which is Esperance Communications.
Yeah, Esperance Meadowland?
No.
No.
This is the thing. All 3 out of these 4 companies are from Western Australia. 2 of them have the name Esperance.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm like, is the affiliate getting confused over who's being targeted here?
It happens.
But yeah, so Esperance Communications, they do IT technology and security technology and installation and stuff like that. They were listed on January 30. No evidence provided at all.
Classic.
Just the claim that the data was there. February 11, Mount Barker Cooperative, and that hacker says that they got 40 gigabytes and tens of thousands of documents. On 21st of February, Esperance Metalland, which is a steel supplier, apparently had 14 gigabytes of data stolen. It's more than 16,000 files. And then the 4th victim, Queensland this time.
Okay. Breaking the mold.
Breaking, as I said, the West Australian hacking spree, was listed on the 22nd of February. And again, no volume of data listed, no file count, no files published. What I find really curious here is that first victim from January 30, Esperance Communications, still hasn't had a single thing published.
Yeah.
Even as of right now. I checked beforehand.
Yeah, well, you're saying it's actually even returning a 404.
Well, yeah. Because they've said, we've published, or as Qilin likes to say, publicated. We do believe they are Russian language, native Russian speakers. But that goes to a 404. And it just makes me wonder, like, is Qilin or someone associated with Qilin just pulling on pure bullying and extortion here?
Yeah.
Now, annoyingly, none of the victims have gotten back to me, which leads me to make guesses, and these are guesses. They had no idea what I was talking about when I contacted them.
Yeah.
Some mad Sydney journalist talking about darknet leak sites and you've been hacked and have you contacted the ASD? I've gone, what the?
What if this is the guy?
What if I'm the problem? Hi,
Yeah.
I'm the problem. It's me.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard to say because we only have what Qilin and its affiliates are saying. But so far, there's no evidence that any of this actually happened.
It's a weird one because Qilin does have a reputation for actually following up.
And they're huge.
Yeah.
Like 1,000 odd.
And we know if you're
victims since they first appeared.
Yeah.
Companies like ThreatLocker take them very seriously and have analyzed their ransomware binary.
Yeah.
So they appear to be legit. It's just here, this little thing, there's something weird about it, especially those 2 companies with the name Esperance in them.
And it's a weird thing because if you're a reputable company. If you're an infamous threat group, that's a better way of putting
you want to be a reputable threat group amongst your peers, i.e. other scumballs, criminals, yes.
Because if you lie all the time, no one's going to buy the data off you, no one's going to pay ransom. The only time I typically, and this is a big call, I'm not suggesting this is what's happened, but the only time I typically see groups start lying when they've had a really solid track record of truth is when they do an escape.
An exit scam.
What do they call it? Exit scam, yeah.
Or they've been hit by law enforcement and are trying to big up themselves, as Lockbit was doing for a while.
Yeah,
with recycling data.
And that's what Alpha V, I believe it was, did with the big healthcare thing in the US.
Anyway, it's just something I spotted. I've been looking at quietly. You know, when they listed Esperance Communications, there's almost nothing to write about. Esperance didn't get back to me. There was nothing posted. And I'm like, well, that's barely a story. Company hack says hackers. That's it. That's the story. But now that there's 4 Australian victims, 3 WA, 2 with very similar names, all at the same time as Klopp said they'd gotten to those 2, one Victorian and one WA IT supplier and all of their clients. I've been watching those leak sites as well and still nothing posted. So I think Klopp is pulling someone's leg there as well.
Interesting.
If you're not Klopp, reach out to us. Qilin, if you say you've got the real deal, reach out to us. Let us know.
Yeah, clarify some things.
Yeah, clarify some things because we don't know what's going on here.
Yeah.
But regardless, it's very interesting. Another local hack. They're coming for our chicken parma.
This is ridiculous.
I know.
Well, you say parma?
Palmy?
You say parma.
Parmo?
I say palmy.
Pamu.
Parma's the Melbourne one, I think.
Adam Lau, TV chef and winner of MasterChef, back when I was still on Twitter, he launched a campaign to get people to start using the unused vowel in how they shorten Parmigiano to Pamu.
Pamu.
I tried it once, and the guy behind the bar looked at me really weirdly. Anyway, so I tried Adam. I really tried. Hazeldene's chicken, a full paddock to plate supplier
Yep.
of poultry products disclosed a ransomware incident. It happened last week.
Yep.
Forced them to take down Wi-Fi. And it looks like it's caused incredible disruptions to their distribution. Whole towns are missing out on their chicken deliveries.
Yeah, well, that was the first thing that stood out to me when I saw the ABC article was pubs without palmies.
Exactly, right?
And it's like, oh,
I know.
what's a pub without a palmy?
I don't often have a chicken parme. But when I do, it's exactly what I want.
Yeah.
And the idea that I'll have a chicken parme, mate, oh man, no, we got hacked. We
chicken.
can't give it to you. I'm sorry, what?
Yeah. As someone would say, this is un-Australian.
It's un-Australian, mate. But, I mean, look, we laugh, but if you're going to the local butcher to buy your week's shopping and you can't get chicken, if you're that butcher and you can't sell that chicken, if you're a pub without chicken...
Yeah.
It actually is no laughing matter. I mean,
No,
let's
it's
be
not.
serious here. I mean, this is loss of business from the top down.
Yeah, not just for these guys, but
Yeah.
Have Coles or Woolies
I
said
don't
anything?
know. I haven't
I
heard
assume
that.
they have a range of
Yeah.
suppliers.
I am
but-
chatting to someone with Coles at the moment about another matter that we'll no doubt chat in a later
Yes.
podcast. So I'll ask then, I guess. But it's a really interesting example of how one incident can have a follow-on effect down the chain.
It's like Jaguar Land Rover in the UK.
It's exactly like Jaguar Land,
It-
except it probably won't affect the Australian GDP.
No,
Probably.
it probably depends how long.
Wow, that's one hell of a chicken drought.
Yeah.
But yeah, look, I mean, our hearts go out to everybody affected,
Yes.
Especially anybody wanting a chicken parma in a regional pub somewhere in Victoria.
Yeah.
Now, this is a fascinating one. This next one isn't our reporting, and unfortunately, Rob Doherty from our colleagues at Defence Connect is not in the office today, so we couldn't invite him to be a guest. But an Aussie defence worker has been arrested for selling cyber exploits to Russians.
Wow.
That's some Cold War stuff right there.
Yeah.
So, Australian national Peter Williams was sentenced in the US District Court for the District of Columbia this week. Judge Lauren Alican ordered him to serve 3 years of supervised release with special conditions to forfeit a money judgment of $1.3 million US, crypto property, a house, luxury items, saying that Williams acknowledged that his actions caused harm to the intelligence communities both in the US and Australia.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
exploited his senior role at a US defense contractor to enrich himself at the expense of the US and its employer. The tools he compromised are intended to protect this nation. Instead, he auctioned them off to a Russian bidder. We are committed to ensuring that those who abuse their access to sensitive information and thereby harm our national security face severe consequences. I mean, Aussie sells secrets to Russian spies. I did not have that on my bingo card. For,
No,
yeah.
no, I didn't. I had to scan through this today. This article.
Yeah, you were out of the office yesterday moving house when I think this dropped.
Yeah, well, I was working, but I had a nice move on the lunch break, and then after work it was a little bit more. But yeah, I had to scan through this, and boy,
Yeah, I know, it's a hell of a thing.
It's real spy stuff.
It really
It's
is.
real double agent stuff.
Yeah. So Roman Rozavsky, Assistant Director of the FBI's Counterintelligence and SBI's division, said Peter Williams stole a US defense contractor's trade secrets about highly sensitive cyber capabilities and sold them to a broker whose clients include the Russian government, putting our national security and countless potential victims at risk. Let this be a clear warning to all who consider placing greed over country. If you betray your position of trust and sell sensitive American technologies to our foreign adversaries, the FBI will not rest until you are brought to justice.
They are passionate words.
And, I mean,
I get it.
yeah. Look, there's no two ways about this. That's a crime.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
serious.
Yeah, that is
It's one thing selling those secrets to, say, a competitor in the field, but doing it to someone that the US is effectively one step away from being at war at, but in many
It's
ways
treason.
is in a soft war, given that the US is now kind of like saying it's going to go after Shadow Fleet tankers and all of that.
Yeah.
Oh, it's highly treasonous.
Yeah.
I would say he's lucky to have gotten away with just losing money and at that 3 years of supervised release. But he'll never work in the industry again.
Oh, no. He's the last person that's going to get on a plane or get a security clearance. Oh, a plane's probably
Maybe
fine,
a plane back to Australia, but I don't know, maybe we'll...
Yeah, he might have a flight ban. I don't know.
I don't know, no idea. But look, he has been caught, thankfully. But yeah, that shocked the hell out of me. And that's it for the the crime angle because we need to save some time for our special guest. I went along to Proofpoint's Proofpoint Protect Sydney tour yesterday. I was down at their Melbourne event last year, and I spoke to a couple of their senior folks there. But this time, I was lucky enough to sit down with Sumit Dhawan, their CEO, and we chat for chat as you're about to find out about agentic AI threats, and how CISOs can secure them. So here we go. I do want to chat agentic AI today, but before we get into that, I figure as the CEO of a company like Proofpoint, you must have a very informed and high-level view into the wider threat landscape. So what is it like in early 2026 compared to a year ago or 2 years ago?
I think one thing is the trend as we saw in 25 continues to be the same around volume of sophisticated threats.
Yep.
Where languages and even sizes of customers are no longer barriers. We're clearly seeing the type of social engineering threats come in, becoming more sophisticated and higher in volume. So you have to suspect a good reason of that is generative AI. And I think based on even the regions where the attacks are happening, I'd say crypto, because crypto makes currencies are no longer a barrier and one can. So I think that trend is continuing. The second thing I would say is we are starting to see more and more of insider risk. Okay, where insiders are becoming a mechanism to steal information. It's not a traditional outbound threat actors attacking and a hacker attacking, but maybe either state-sponsored or potential just true criminal networks doing more and more of insider risk. We're starting to see in almost every enterprise that's happening. COVID made it easier, and I think there's sort of more to gain because of digitization that's happened in everywhere in the world, and now insiders becoming bigger nuisance. And I think the third trend I would say is the trust exploitation, which is combination of both.
Yes.
Where, you can exploit an identity of your supplier or a low privileged individual, even if it was an insider that potentially takes on job of a very low privileged user. All of a sudden, using lateral traversal through communication layer, not through network layer, is becoming a bigger and bigger issue. We are seeing 400% increase in these, I'm going to compromise, a third party that you deal with as an enterprise and then issue social engineering attacks. Used to be just for fraud. Now it's to gain identity access internal through compromised credentials for issuing more sophisticated real ransomware potential. Because fraud was, I have a little bit of invoicing, you can put guardrails, but when you start having ransomware attacks done that way, it becomes a little more complex.
Yeah. It's just yesterday, we had a chicken producer. They do farms, they process the birds as well. They got hit by a cyber attack, or sounds like it's a ransomware incident, and it's taken their production lines offline. So you have all these small towns around Victoria who don't have chicken parmigiana to sell to their customers. I get what you're saying. So moving on.
This is the interesting part, right? Because no one is at this point in time protected. Everyone needs the sophisticated protection. That wasn't the case 3 years ago. Everyone could just have some basic security network sort of protection, which would do some semantic analysis. Now everyone needs sophisticated protection because you're no longer, it's just unfortunately otherwise a matter of time.
Yeah. And the way the initial access brokers these days are selling access, they're advertising, hey, they've got this antivirus system, they've got this defense on their network, and the threat actors who are buying that access have malware that can dance around endpoint protection. So
100%. And even if endpoint can catch it, it's too late by then, and now you've got to deal with this potential threat. You don't know how it's traversed, when it was issued, and signature-based protection on the endpoint. there's always a zero-day threat that's going to exist. That will keep coming up. Yeah, what are you going to
Yeah. So moving on to the agentic side, agentic AI is such a buzzword across the enterprise.
Yeah.
We're hearing talk of, agents now starting to outnumber warm-blooded actual humans in the enterprise. But at the same time, what you're worried about is agentic AI as a threat. So what is an agentic AI threat?
I think we're worried about not just agentic AI as a threat, which is happening today. I think there are autonomous AI agents that are able to do social engineering.
Yep.
That's happening today. Otherwise, in other words, there may not be a human in the loop when you have threats coming in, which is an agentic AI as a threat. We're also seeing agentic AI as a risk. That's slightly different, where your risk surface area is increased. Here's the issue when it comes to AI. AI is like, to some extent, it's supposed to mimic humans. And the way AI works is indeterministic. Like if today humans are asked to do a task, how do we work? You give us a problem, let's say that's a prompt. We break that problem down into a series of steps. We use the context and the memory that we have, and then we apply some analytics to solve those problems. But those analytics that we apply is not an if-then Boolean logic.
No.
It's like intelligence of our pattern detection. And then we use the broad context to draw on our knowledge, as well as we ask questions to everything we know, or try to build a knowledge by asking questions from other experts to come up with a position.
Yeah.
AI is no different. Okay, AI applies a language model. You give it a prompt, language model will need to reason, and it will try to get an inference by asking other pieces of information or other agents for their opinions.
Yep.
And it will then collect those opinions and come up with some sort of a conclusion.
Yeah.
Okay?
That may or may not be correct.
Just like humans.
Yeah.
You're talking about efficacy of decision. None of us know if humans make 100% decisions, right? No. We have error rates, AI has error rates, their memory context is increasing, and the more AI is able to communicate and be challenged by other AI agents, the better efficacy of decisions you get, just like humans.
Yeah.
Otherwise, humans have to be PhDs to be able to do that. You're not, you don't have, right? So as you're making AI to make better efficacy decisions, what are you doing? You're doing three things. You're increasing their memory.
Yep.
In other words, how much they can remember. That's happening with frontier models. You're giving them access to more data that they can place in their memory. And you're sometimes making agents talk to each other. Just like humans talk to each other, we're challenged by each other. Agents are challenging each other to make their decision-making better. See, that happens. It's a different world of risk.
Because somebody can get inside that loop and poison the data.
Not that. It's simply because in typical enterprise, the protection is decided or implemented through a very deterministic set of APIs and in north-south traffic.
Yep.
That's how you have contained information. As soon as you change it so that there is an indeterministic way an AI can get you the answer, all of your AI risk protection is off. Every enterprise is off today.
Okay. That's alarming.
So how would you protect it? You would protect it just like you would protect a human thinking. Okay? We would firstly say any shadow AI, which is anyone who's not an employee who I don't trust, is out. So shadow AI. Secondly, I want to make sure AI can only access the data that it should have access to. Protect your data that you're feeding to AI.
Yep.
And third, you're going to say that all the AI activities that are happening in accessing either more information that's put into the memory or AI talking to each other has guardrails. Okay.
Yep.
That's what Proofpoint has built now. So that's our strategy of providing, number one, what we started, protection against AI threats.
Yep.
And now we have extended our platform to protection against AI risks in the enterprise. And that's something that you can't do based on network protection or endpoint. Today, we provide an insider risk protection on human behavior, and human access to data. We've extended those same set of protections now to do almost as if AI is an insider risk, so that we can protect the intent and data loss for AI agents as well.
Yeah.
And that's a different risk than AI threats.
Gotcha. Understood. What kind of advice would you give to a CISO whose company is rolling out all of these agents then in how to communicate that risk to the board and the C-suite?
That's a big challenge. Okay, number one, I would say is that CISOs do need to step in and take in charge. I'm seeing more CISOs losing in charge with CIOs taking in charge and CISOs waiting for when it's an issue that they go capture. That's a wrong approach. Okay. Now, I suggest building an AI governance program at the tech level. That's the second thing. CISOs are building AI governance program through AI committees and policies, which is predominantly on which AI will it be used, how we will make sure which AI can be brought in, what is the data policy on models. We are well past that.
Yeah.
Okay. CEOs and boards are going to push every business to adopt AI as fast as possible for both generative AI, which is assistants, co-pilots, as well as agentic AI, which is autonomous tasks through just because of either business model transformation or cost and economics. Okay. CISOs need to go past policy creation to data and AI governance programs that have tech enablement. Those are the two things I would ask the CISOs. And they have mechanisms, if they start thinking about AI risks as an extension of human risk, which is already understood at the board level, or you can easily associate it. Here's how we protected our humans for insider risk and AI-based threats. We got to do the same thing with AI, but the technology that we have to bring in is different. Board will be very supportive. But right now, they're at the policy level. And that is too far back.
Yeah.
In terms of the speed at it adopting. The rate of pace on going from policy to technology and governance programs, it's got to be much, much faster than what CISOs did with cloud. They did that with cloud and SaaS, and they're operating at the same calendar, which is 3 to 4x slower. Because AI is moving at 4 to 4x faster. Anything that used to be done in a year is getting done in a quarter.
Yeah, okay, that must be hard to keep up with. One last question. I want to go back to the bigger picture. And this is a question I ask a lot of people when I sit across them and interview them. What keeps you up at night? You've been working in security for however long. What really worries you right now?
I think besides some of the obvious, which is, I would say, our own, we are safeguarding our customers' most trusted communications. Number one, I do worry about our own our own internal employee behavior, and our guardrails are as strong or not. I'd say I wouldn't underestimate the fact that if we are protecting the enterprises of the world, are we safeguarding in the best possible way and being the role model in the world? In fact, just today I sent a note to our team that we are, we're calling it the best security governance program. It's got sort of 4 elements. BEST stands for an acronym. And we are sort of really extending the access controls to, AI governance with technology and securing the data in a completely different up-level fashion. It to me, it worries me. And I think secondly, I would say there is this the innovation paradigm on this agentic workspace, as the security of it comes in, I think my biggest goal is us being at the forefront of solving that for customers, and we don't miss this opportunity to being the best partner for our customers to solve the problem of human and AI working with data in a secure fashion.
Yeah.
Those are really the two main things. Everything else, are either short-term execution optimization elements of how well you're executing, or, how we are providing the right returns to our investors. But those two are really defensive and offensive moves for us.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. One last thing, actually. You mentioned that agentic AI uptake is moving faster than CISOs can currently go with. Are we moving too fast with agentic AI? Should we slow down those rollouts that are taking a quarter but would have taken a year previously?
I think there's a lot of confusion in the enterprise, and I think right now it's sort of operating with a very democratized fashion. And the agentic world and the agent creation tools are making it very simple, where almost every enterprise I speak with have hundreds, sometimes or thousands of agents that their workforce has built. And that's a positive for innovation. That's a positive for possibly of productivity, although it's debatable.
Yeah.
It's debatable, but I think that to me, the governance of this is about 12 to 18 months away. So if we just keep expanding at this rate without having the right technology governance and guardrails in place, there is unfortunately going to be news that we will all hear, which will potentially create setbacks on the speed of this.
Gotcha.
I would say that's the opportunity that really CISOs have, again, coming back to the point on accelerating from policy to technology governance, or else there will be an incident. It's just bound to happen because AI is doing what it's designed to do. It's designed to work with information and create analytics as fast as possible, and there will be eventually productivity gains that will come in as this agent development take place. And unfortunately, you don't want this technology to slow down because of an incident. It should ideally work with fast and safe fashion. Right?
Should is doing a lot of heavy lifting.
Because the AI sort of becomes this engine and accelerator we have adopted as we are going from horse and buggy to an automobile. You need to very quickly come up with, your dashboard and brakes. And that's what CISO's role is. The role should not be to take the engine and the accelerator away.
It's to invent a seatbelt.
Add the brakes and the seatbelt so that you can go fast in a safe fashion. So I don't know. I wouldn't say as a CEO, I wouldn't want the adoption of AI to slow down. I want adoption to AI to be faster because we have safeguards in place. And unfortunately, it's a little risky time now, but I think we'll get past it.
Yep.
He was fantastic to chat to, even if at one point during the chat, so we chatted at Daltone House in Sydney, and they had an entire room upstairs for us, and I'm sitting down having a quiet chat, and someone opens the door and just starts to go, anyway, PRs just ran away.
Love it.
Hopefully it doesn't make it into the recording, and if it has, our AV team have spotted it and gotten rid of it. But I was chatting to the comms person who helped arrange it after the interview, and it reminded me that in 2 decades of being a games journalist in my previous life, I got to sit down with some of the smartest and brightest in the games industry. But they're not nearly as interesting as people in cyber. One of the things is, in the games industry, people have been PR massaged to hell and back. You sit down and you ask them the most incisive question you can about their game, and they'll somehow twist it around to what they've been trained to say. Because really it's all about, here, you chat to someone about, like I did with Sumit, like, what are your fears? He'll go, okay, well, actually, here's what I'm afraid of.
Yeah.
And you'll get an honest answer every time, and they're always incredibly smart folks. So, Sumit, thank you for joining us. And I look forward to catching up with you next time you're in Sydney. And on that note, we're going to go for another break, and we'll be back with sex toys. Bye. Welcome back to Cyber Uncut. As promised.
Sex toys.
All right, Dan, take us through it.
Yeah, so we always get really good headlines out of these stories. Let me just start. So this one was penetrated. Adult toy maker suffers leak after hacker slips in. It's good.
Yeah, I know. Like, yeah, I got.
Yeah. So
we do a regular editorial internal competition momentum, and one of the things is best pun in a headline. So for people who don't like the puns in a headline, don't hate the player, hate the game, baby.
Yeah, I chase that that
You
podium
and Jake
finish for
from
that one.
Aviation Australia.
He's great.
He's also deeply passionate about winning.
He is, and I'm shocked that every time we've done the headline thing, except for the last one, I've won it and he hasn't.
And he hasn't punched you.
No, he hasn't. It's coming.
It's coming, yeah. Oh, well, I saw that one coming. Anyway, back to the story at hand.
Adult toy maker Tenga, so it's a Japanese sex toy maker, told its US-based customers that a number of them have been caught up in a cyber incident where a threat actor penetrated the email of a company staffer.
There you go with that word again.
I didn't actually mean for that to be punny there.
But you did.
But it happened.
Yeah.
So Tenga wrote, on February 12th, 2026, Tenga USA identified a localized security incident involving a single employee's email account. This incident concerns a limited segment of our US customers who interacted with our customer service channel. Our global systems and databases outside the US remain secure and unaffected. So, no sensitive personal data such as social security numbers, billing credit card information, or Tenga/Iroa store passwords were jeopardized in this incident, but customer email addresses and related correspondence history were.
Yeah.
So, according to the release that Tenga released, the cyber incident occurred when the threat actor used a staff email to send a suspicious attachment, which when opened during a small execution window, which I believe was from 12 a.m. to 1 a.m., whatever time it was around the world. I don't know what time it was for us. The recipients of that email that opened it were impacted. So it was a very, very, very small window in the middle of the night. But not to make a joke out of it, but if I assume that quite a few people do their sex toy purchases late at night, I don't know.
Probably. Don't ask me how I know. I should also point out that when Dan was researching this, brought up a picture of the toy in question, I went, "Oh, I know what that is." And our direct boss, our editor Liam, gave me this look, which he's like, "How? Don't. We have a member of our team who helps source images for us. And I was thinking, I know. She's this lovely Filipino woman.
And she's fantastic.
She's so good.
I've had her edit some really, really great images together before.
And some of the requests we send her, like again, we're making light of a very dark thing, but you got to understand, gentle listeners,
we're children.
That Dan and I cover a lot of dark stuff, and sometimes laughter is the way we do it. If we're doing a story on keeping children safe from child sexual predators online, we'll be like, okay, we need a shot of someone. I think one request, I need someone that looks like they might be looking at some kind of nasty porn online, but clearly not. Can you make it look dodgy? And found me this really black and white shadowed thing of a guy, accessing a laptop, and I'm like, what does this woman think we do?
Some of the requests I've made, I'm like, she must think we do some weird. Oh, that's going to need to be bleeped.
Dollar in the jar for you.
But in this case, I just said, hey, can I have an image of Tenga? And
and she showed you the actual hardware product.
The tool that they make.
No, it's not a particularly suggestive product. In fact, if you don't know what it is, you won't even recognize it.
No. But there it was. I said, hey, do you have a sign? And they don't really have any signs. The only sign was for an adult video shop that they own.
Yeah.
And so we've ended up just using a photo of the press release.
That'll do. That's like the safest possible. Yeah.
It is. Anyway, going back to it, the company Tenga also explained that its systems only allow customer data to be accessible to those it is essential for, and that all payment information is encrypted, so all of that sensitive data could never have been impacted. And all of those that were affected have been proactively contacted to prevent that email spread.
Yeah, it's interesting because those devices in particular Tenga, by and large, in fact, I don't even think it does. None of them are battery powered or electrical anyway. There's no software hardware thing going on. And it did remind me of something I reported on back in 2024, and this was the Luma info stealer being deployed into a rechargeable bullet vibe. That recharged by USB.
Yeah.
Therefore, if you plug it into your plugged-in PC or laptop to get it, it deploys onto the laptop.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So it could be worse.
I wrote a story a few years ago, and this was this we can completely laugh at. It's almost good news.
It's almost good news.
Because there was a cyber researcher who figured out how to take remote control of sex toys.
Oh, yeah.
And he did, and he made, and it was very, actually, I saw the video that he did. It's not a problematic video, nothing that we can't talk about. Just of the toys on a table.
Yeah.
Where he could control the intensity and things like that.
Yeah.
And there's just these things flailing about on the table and things like that, where it's like, you could hurt someone with that.
For years, and this goes back to my time as being a consumer technology journalist as well, for years, the promise of teledildonics, which is a fantastic phrase that doesn't get used nearly enough, and I'm sure won't get bleeped at all. The idea that your partner could be the other side of the world, you could be using a device that they have control of, you're having a chat online, and what they're saying you get the feel of.
I've heard these.
Yeah,
smaller
devices used over dinner, and you hit a button, and
I've heard of these.
However, like the idea that someone might hack one of those devices, and you're like, oh, I can't believe you did that to me for an hour last night. Oh, I didn't touch the remote.
And it's a Russian hacker. Or,
sickos. It's what an exciting time to be alive.
But yes, we do, as you said, we do have to laugh. This is still a legitimate business that has suffered a horrible, horrible incident. And
again, how could this actually be used? One, it's customer contact data. This kind of stuff is always useful. If you can start pairing that with known passwords by going to a database of other leaked emails, you might be able to do something with it. But an enterprising scammer or extortionist might go, hey, I know this person takes use of sex toys.
Yeah, exactly.
I might contact them about that.
And that's it. They said related correspondence history. Correspondence, unless it's just going to be like, customer support messages, is going to have, I bought this product, I have this, and this, and this.
Yeah.
And if, a threat actor said, I'm going to show this to your family, your employer, all of this kind of thing.
Your church group.
Yeah, you might have a partner that doesn't necessarily isn't okay with these kind of toys. While not necessarily illegal or cheating or whatever, it might not be okay with them.
Some people aren't okay with that.
Exactly.
They're wrong. They should be fine. I'm just saying that right now. I think that might be the week in cyber and AI for us.
I think so. As much as we can talk about sex toys.
To end on. If you don't know what Tenga do, keep Safe Search on when you Google them, but you'll work out what they do eventually. It's not the weirdest thing I've seen online.
No, as you said, they don't look suggestive.
They do not look suggestive at all, unlike some. As I said, before I incriminate myself any further, I think that's us. That's it from Dan and I. Thank you so much for listening. If you like what we do, you can read more of what we do on Cyber Uncut. You can find Dan on AI Daily, Cyber Daily, sorry. Cyber Uncut's what you're listening to right now. You can find Dan on AI Daily. You can find both of us occasionally on Aviation Australia and Defence Connect.
Australian Aviation.
I did it again. I'm so bad at that.
As the co-host of the podcast.
Bad. Okay, all right. I'll let Jake know I did it again. He can hit me. But yes, thank you for listening. Sign up to our newsletter on Cyber Daily. You can find us on social media and LinkedIn. And we'll be back. Actually, you'll be back.
Yes.
Because I am going to the Threat Locker Zero Trust World Tour next week in Orlando, Florida.
Yeah, and you'll have some time to do Star Wars things at Disney, I hear.
One day. But there's so many things I want to do with that one day. It's like, do I go over to Cape Canaveral?
Oh.
Which is just over there.
Yeah.
Do I go down to Miami just so I can take some Miami Vice selfies.
That's probably what I would do.
I know,
but
it's-
I'm also a big Star Wars nerd, and I want to do, what's it called?
Galaxy's Edge.
Galaxy's Edge,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
it.
yeah. Don't worry. I am so conflicted that I still haven't decided to do anything. I'll probably just sit in my hotel room and drink all
Don't
day.
do that.
No. But yes, so Dan will be back next week, most likely with Bethany, and I'll be back the week after that, probably with more reports from the Threat Locker World Tour.
Yes,
but
very
for now,
exciting.
thank you for listening. We'll see you next week.
So yeah.